Welcome back. Our last leg of conversation with Nyana Sabharwal from Safe Space and a few of your messages. Rohan Pokhare. Hashtag 13 Reasons Why is a fairly dramatized depiction of the circumstances leading to suicide, but relevant nonetheless. I've obviously been living under a rock because Nyana just told me that it's a popular show, a series on an OTT platform. So you want to
Yes.
comment on that? 13 Reasons Why? Yeah.
So, 13 Reasons Why, yes, while dramatized, a lot of the events shown are causes for suiciding behavior. So, we find that trauma, for example, in which there is abuse and bullying and all of those things that children face, do lead into suiciding behavior. So, yes, very, very relevant, I would say.
Sunita D'Souza. Hello, Hrishi K. The last catch up on the radio whilst we drive to work. How does one dance to it in the car? Music Monday. Thank you, darling. Have a wonderful day ahead and a safe driving, okay? Prashant Rao Arur. Nyana should look at Sikkim, where the incidence is three times the national average. Is that true? My God.
That is true. Obviously, there are pockets in India which have higher incidence of suicide than Mumbai city, but we have to start somewhere, and so we have started with our my local community, which is Mumbai, and hopefully in time we were able to reach out to more spaces in India.
Yeah, it's hard enough, I imagine, even now. Yeah.
It is indeed.
Okay, now let's talk about what Safe Space is actually doing. I believe you have a suicide first aid training, which is happening on the 26th of September. Let's start with that.
So yes, one of the core things that we do is to train people in suicide first response. So basically, you will learn how to recognize the warning signs, have a conversation around suicide, bring the person down to safety, and safety planning with the person. Also have the resources and connections to community resources like psychologists and psychiatrists and hospitals, which we provide. And so you will basically become a first responder with all the resources you need to respond effectively in a case of seeing a person who may be at risk. This is happening on 26th of September, and it's an internationally accredited training program with the City and Guilds UK, and so you get certified as an internationally qualified suicide first responder. We also have an assessment that makes you do that. So once you go through the training, you give an assessment, and then you become a qualified first responder.
So, and the larger objective for Safe Space would be.
So our first objective is to open doors to talking about suicide. So because of the stigma that's associated with it, and that it's just silenced, we sweep it under the carpet. We don't give these voices. We don't let them get heard, or we are not able to hear them. So the first thing is we want to able to create that safe space to talk about suicide, because if you say I'm okay to talk about it, the chances are someone will reach out to you and say I need help. So to create that, second is educate ourselves about suicide, so that whatever myths or misconceptions we may have about it are cleared, and therefore we are able to move forward together in addressing something that's plaguing our country and our loved ones. The third is to then become a first responder. If you, because like I said earlier on in the previous segment, is that each one of us, quote unquote, responds to somebody, a loved one, when they say they are in distress. And it's natural that we panic and we worry. But if I am trained to able to respond effectively, then I'm able to respond to what you need and get you the help that you need, rather than me telling you what you should do. I will get you the need that you require, which is really, really critical. And so the larger objective following these 4 points is really creating suicide safe communities.
And you've got these workshop modules that you do at offices, institutions, as well as schools. Yeah?
Absolutely, we do. And we're doing a lot of work with colleges right now to talk about and build awareness on suicide and how it's okay to talk about it. What actually happens, how it's a continuum. And we do have people after these courses who are both interested in becoming first responders, but also come and seek help. So, what we find is it's not just about the awareness, about opening doors to these conversations where people can seek help.
World Suicide Prevention Day is tomorrow. What Safe Space is doing is something really wonderful. Assemble at the mouth of the Worli Sea Face, where the cars get on the Worli side. Walk, assemble just before 7, and from 7 to 8 there's a walk till the RA Dairy, and then they will give you balloons which you can release into the sky for suicide prevention and awareness. Listen, thank you for rolling by.
Thank you so much.
I learned a lot, and I'm sure everybody who's listening learned a lot. Cheers, take care.
Thank you.
It's Jamelia Superstar